Last week, Hollywood power couple Sofia Vergara and Joe Manganiello announced they were getting divorced, with Joe revealing a big factor behind the split was their different take on partying. See, Sofia loved to drink with friends and Joe is sober.
So is this a legitimate reason for divorce, or is it a common reason? And when can differences in drinking cause the most contention? Well, relationship expert Melissa Ferrari has the answers. Good morning, Melissa. How are you? How often do you see this? How often does alcohol play a role in a couple breaking down?
Yeah, it's a fairly common thing. And it usually provokes a lot of feelings as well, particularly if the drinking is a little out of hand or if it really is opposition in values around drinking, which sounds like what's gone on here with this couple, this Hollywood couple. So it is common and it's a problem, and some people will leave each other for something like this.
I think it's really hard as someone who's been sober I've been sober for 9 years, my wife has been too. It really is helpful when the partner goes on that journey with you.
Yes.
You know, because it means you're connected still.
Exactly.
Is that something that you recommend that everyone should do, or can it work where one person who may not have a drinking problem just drink a little bit while the other person is sober?
I think what I have seen is the most successful is when both people do it. And that's because the person, like in this case, can feel very tempted, can start to feel worried that they're not going to stay on track.
With trauma.
Exactly. And a lot of this is to do with all of that, David, you know, how you've been shaped psychologically around alcohol, how this kind of stuff affects you. It makes this topic such a unique one to so many people, and navigating it from that place is important, I think.
So if you think that your partner's drinking habits are causing a problem in your relationship, how do you initiate that conversation?
Well, the first is to start up really, really friendly, and from a place of concern, let them know, you know, I really love you, you are my person, I want to be with you forever, right? But this is getting in the way of us having a good connection and a good relationship. It's something that can't be left unsaid. Avoiding it is problematic, and so tackling it head on from a very loving place, and get some professional help if you need.
I want to be mindful of the fact, though, that this doesn't always mean that someone has a drinking problem. Let's say you do love a social drink. You drink maybe 2 or 3 times a week with friends, you love going to a winery or whatever, and you feel like your partner is restricting your fun.
Yeah, and you know...
That means that you're just out of a match now?
Yeah, well, you can be. It can be actually, you know, for some it's a deal breaker. Like, we just can't stay together because we're not navigating in a way that feels healthy. And you're right, it's not always just a problematic drinker. It's just, you know, difference of opinion, difference of values, and difference around how you're affected. When that deep stuff is really, really triggered, people sometimes do need to make some decisions.
I guess so much of a lot of people's social lives revolves around drinking and alcohol to some extent, doesn't it? So what are some ways that you can reconnect with your partner that doesn't involve drinking?
Yeah, well, I think...
Doing it, I guess. Having a Gary go at it.
Don't avoid the topic. You know, that's one thing people do. They dance around it, you know. Learn to discover each other. Dancing, exactly. Find things, you know, take it in turns on what you both love to do, and make sure that you're keeping up those. Find different ways to raise the dopamine levels and all of that, you know. Be exciting together. People forget, just being curious with each other can be actually quite exciting. You don't need always alcohol and drugs to
I also want to add the fact, and this is not to slight him, but he was a big nerd too. He loved Dungeons and Dragons with the boys, or doing sports with the boys.
And she comes from a South American culture
that's very
social.
Can that ever work? You know, sort of opposites attract?
It certainly worked in the beginning for those two.
I mean, they're both hot. That's probably why that worked, right?
Exactly right. But over time, same as any relationship, once you start to know each other, the brain automates the person and says, I know who you are. We stop being interested. The excitement starts to go.
Maybe they should just had a big old hot affair, Melissa, I reckon.
Yeah,
maybe. Thanks,
Where were you when they needed you? Thank you, Melissa.
Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my God. Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
That never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?